The first three steps for Africa's development is step one, your ideology. Step two, your for-profit. And step three, your non-profit. So for you, you have to come to terms with what is your ideology? What is your for-profit skill, right? And what is your non-profit skill? What is your for-profit contribution? What is your non-profit contribution? Once you understand these things, you can contribute towards the development of Africa. Because what we need, genuinely speaking, is for-profit and non-profits. Like each of us as quote-unquote Pan-Africanists should have for-profits and non-profits that we're working on, particularly to engage with the states that we live in, those states being in Africa, right? And that's really critical. But more important is not more important, but of importance is also your ideology, okay? So your ideology is basically, for lack of a better word, your religion, right? Now, your religion will inform you on what is ethical, what is moral for you. You know, how should, like for instance, one of the big concerns is how should women dress in public, right? Versus how they would dress at home, right? Or how should they dress around neighbors or friends or family, those sort of things. Those are ethical kind of questions, but cultural questions. Basically, your ideology is the root of your culture, in a sense. But it's very important that if we're looking to develop, we have to have a development-minded culture, development-minded ideology. That's kind of what I wrote about in Uangalifu, okay? Like, you can, go towards a religion and, but it might be a little outdated. You might have to give it a little bit of upgrades, and if so, you have the books to append that. And of course, if you don't want a religion as your base, because you know what religions can do, right? Then you can also just use Uangalifu as a standalone, and that's fine. But the main takeaway, right, is how to do that sound effect. The main takeaway is that you have to have an ideology to, say what is a ethical for profit, Like, should I sell alcohol in the community? Should I open a strip club? Should I open, a bar? Like, for instance, I was talking to this brother, and he was telling me, hey, you know what? Even if he opens up a bar, because it could have some profit, right? And the prostitutes, or he opens up, a hotel or something like that. Hotel, right? And the prostitutes set up camp there. He's like, I ain't got no problem with that. Because they're doing a service for the people, Like, you don't want these guys pants up rage, can't get laid. And so it's like, yeah, technically there is a logic there. So it really comes to what is your logic? And then, obviously stick to it. But here's where it comes down. You get the for-profit generating enough income, okay, that you can afford a nonprofit. Because really, where the change and transformation is going to come in is, like, let's say, for instance, a nonprofit like a school, a nonprofit like a hospital, a nonprofit like a so on and so forth. Those are where the development changes are going to happen. Or a nonprofit like the roads. There's this, where I live, neighbor, he seems well-to-do. He's like, look, I'm going to hit up all the neighbors. We're all going to chip in, and we're going to build a road in our area. And of course, hopefully it's affordable. But the whole point being that it won't be affordable unless I have resources already, right? Unless I'm well-to-do already, it won't be affordable. So it's like you and chipping in with your neighbors all of a sudden turn dirt roads into cemented roads, right? And that's where it's like you have to have that for profit. Now, some people are like, hey, well, we just want the government, the state to do this. The state's not going to build all the roads, okay? the state's not going to build the roads. Now, you might ask the state for permission to build the roads that you're riding on, that you're, like, the dirt roads that you're walking on, and I can show you guys what I mean. Hold on a second. Like, the state, this has been here forever, okay? This is not going anywhere. This is the way things are. The only way that this stuff changes is if you change it. What's important is that, what's important, and of course, the geolocators are going crazy. They're like, oh shit. What's important is that you contribute to the development of your community. But you're not going to do that if you're broke. If you're woke broke and you're waiting for the government's not going to do this. Okay? Like this, been here since I came. You know what I mean? And it's going to be here until the people around here, or until you, or the Wangalifu, until the people who are concerned with the development of our communities, until they move, things are not going to be moved. Because the government is too massive, the country is too massive, the city is too massive for the government to be focusing on your road. Not to say the government never focuses on any roads, because it does. But, don't hold your breath. And that's really the main takeaway here. So again, the first three things, obviously, you get your book, and now I'm just jumping over mud, but you get your book, you get your Wangalifu, you get your ideology, you cement it with whatever it is that you believe that it doesn't say for you, right? And then you start to consider, how do I start making profit in these countries? Okay, and you don't have to make it locally. Like, for instance, I'm thinking, hey, a lot of guys are hitting the jackpot with video games. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, maybe I'll hit the jackpot. Now, of course, you don't want to gamble like that, but that's one of the things. Other things you could do is, like gamble. You could do that. But of course, I'm also opening up a restaurant, that kind of stuff. So, you get your profit in one way, and of course, I also, there's also other things you could do. Obviously, you could just work online or something. But all that to say that you can do a lot. Okay. Now, when you're nonprofit, like I said, you open up a school, and you could get things done. Okay. You could start teaching physics, electronics, engineering, those sort of things. When you start teaching that kind of stuff, the children advance, okay? And if you look at other countries, what they do with their children's education, it's imperative that you do the same. Now, it's not going to impact that many people, because like, for instance, my son just graduated from a class of 25 kids. But if he had a program that really emphasized science and technology, that's 25 extra soldiers for the development of African people. And of course, if you include ideology there, because unfortunately everybody is going to include religion everywhere, but if you include ideology there, you get into that much of a better position. So that's really the wisdom I want to leave you with.